But even with field watches, there are so many. There's Citizen, Hamilton, Luminox, Marathon, Oris, Rolex, Seiko, Timex, Tudor, Victorinox. What am I going to choose? I've been putting this off for some time. I want to finally get a field watch. I've considered several brands, even the Bremont Broadsword, after seeing it on my wrist at the Bremont Townhouse event in New York City. But I keep coming back to Hamilton. After all, Hamilton has a rich history with America before ending their U.S. manufacturing in the late 1960s. They were based in Lancaster, PA. They were part of the U.S. railroad expansion and part of the aviation history, and supplied the Allied forces during World War II with their A-11 watch, and later in the 1950s with their A-17. In fact, my father may have worn a Hamilton watch while serving during World War II in the Pacific Theater. So it's going to be a Hamilton field watch for me. But which one? Looking at Hamilton's website for the khaki field watches, we see that they have several groupings. The Day-Date Auto, Mechanical, Auto, King Auto, a couple of chronographs, some quartz watches, and a few specialty watches. Many of the watches in these categories come in a variety of dial colors and strap or bracelet options. To help me make my decision, I've pulled one example from each of these watch groups and virtually lined them up side by side. And at this point, I should describe some of my preferences in watches. First of all, I found that a 40mm wide watch is the sweet spot for my 7 7/8 inch wrist. Also, I want a watch that looks like a field watch. As you may know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I have the Seiko Alpinist, theoretically a field watch or a mountaineering watch. But as I've said in some previous videos, it does not have that feel and look of a real field watch. So I want my Hamilton to have that look, and as close to the old military style watches as possible. Also, although not exclusively, I prefer an automatic watch. It's just that I find it more convenient having to not worry about winding a watch while it's on my wrist for the entire week. So let's take a look at these watches that I've lined up and which ones we can quickly eliminate. And note that I've only put one of the watches of each style here. There are several others with different dial colors and bands that have their own model number. First is the Khaki Field Mechanical. A really nice watch, great military style, and even though it's a mechanical watch, I would consider it, except that it's 38mm. I've tried one on and it just doesn't look right on my wrist. Maybe in the future they'll make a 40mm version that I would consider. So let's cross out the Khaki Field Mechanical. In some earlier videos, I was looking at the Khaki Field King Auto. Now this version here, reference number H644-55533, is a 40mm watch, but the positioning of the day and the date is just too crowded for my taste. Plus it cuts off half of the 11, half of the 1, and the entire 12-hour indices. So let's cross this one out too. I recently tried on the Khaki Field Day-Date Auto, and two things that didn't suit me were its 42mm size, just a bit big I thought, and the fact that it has a day and a date. To me, that takes away from that old-time military look. So I'm going to cross out this one. Switching over to the other end here is, of course, the new Murph watch. It's 42 millimeters, and of course is the watch from that movie Interstellar. Now it's got some nice appeal, but I think for the price, coming in just under $1,000 retail, is a bit too high for this type of watch. So I'm going to cross that one out. Now, one watch I had been considering is the other dial style of the khaki field day-date auto. Now on this one, the day is positioned right under the 12 o'clock position of the inner 24-hour dial. And the date is down at the bottom right above the 6 o'clock hour. Very nice proportioning. But again, as with the other day-date autos, I think the inclusion of both a date and a day complication takes away from the style that I want to see in a field watch. So I'm going to cross out this watch too. Over here in the middle is the khaki field auto. It's also a 42. One thing I didn't like about this watch was the multiple pattern areas on the dial. Again, it made the watch look a bit too stylish for what I would want to see in a field watch. So I'm going to cross that one out too. Just to the left of the khaki field day-date auto that I've already eliminated is another variety where the day and the date indicators are in the same position, but the dial has that multi-texture design, as did the one to the left of it. So just like I eliminated the other two, I'm going to eliminate this watch. This leaves the two models of the khaki field auto, the 42 millimeter and the 40 millimeter. I'm showing here the 42 in a blue dial and the 40 in a brown dial, even though I put the reference number of the green dial in there. And I did have the opportunity to try this model on in a green dial. And I think the 40 millimeter fits me best. So I think my decision is going to be the khaki field auto 40 millimeter watch. This retails for $695 here in the US. But wait, there's more decisions to be made. This watch model apparently comes in 4 different dial colors: brown, green, blue, and black. From these options, I can immediately eliminate the blue dial and the green dial. I just don't think they look that appealing. I was seriously considering the black dial, which has brown numerals on it, but I've decided to go with the brown dial. Reference number H70305993. I think overall this watch meets my criteria for what I want in a field watch. First of all, it's 40 millimeters, a great size for me. It's an automatic. It has just a date complication. It's got both a 12 and a 24-hour dial. And I really like that most of the case is brushed steel with only the bezel being highly polished. And we know that that will get nicked and dinged with wear, making it have the true aesthetic of a field watch. So now I just have to decide where I'm going to purchase this watch. So please let me know in the comments below what you think of my decision. And I will be posting a review of the watch once I have it in hand. So please remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're alerted as soon as I post my next video. Thanks for watching.